everyone. I'm here to introduce you about the butterfly effect and how this greatly impacts our daily lives. Do you believe that a small butterfly can flap its wings from one point in Brazil and set surrounding molecules of air in motion, then move bigger molecules of air, then greater molecules of air, and eventually cause a tornado in Texas? If you're not sure, I'll ask you another question. Do you believe that the smallest actions can create ripples that can change your life or the world? Around the mid-1900s, Rosa Parks' one behavior of disobeying to sit at the back of the bus motivated the civil rights, stating the rights of the African Americans, and she's now known as the mother of the freedom movement. On the negative side, pieces of trash thrown by people here and there since decades ago have now led to the need for landfills and areas to put people's trash, also becoming one of the world's biggest issues. These examples show how small changes can affect large complex systems, which is now known as the butterfly effect, affirmed by Edward Norton Lawrence, a meteorologist who studied about climates. These small behaviors, or actually any small behaviors, could be actions that you don't even notice. However, be aware that being small doesn't mean being useless or unworthy of consideration, because it surely does bring unimaginable consequences. In 1961, Lawrence needed to create a weather model that could describe climate changes. He used the computer to calculate some values, which resulted in the number of 0.506127. He then inserted 0.506 and continued the calculations. But as the calculations proceeded, the final outcome resulted in him having a completely different product than what he had expected. He didn't know why, so he kept on exploring what problem caused this result, and was really shocked when he realized that leaving out the extreme small decimals, 0.000127, would make an incredible outcome. I'll give you an illustration. This table is indicated as this kind of quadratic graph, also referred to the equation y equals x squared. If you substitute x by 2 in this equation, then the product becomes 4 because you're doing 2 times 2. And if you substitute x by 4, then the product becomes 16 since you just multiplied 4 by 4. Now 16 times 16 equals 256, and 256 times itself results as 65,536. On the other hand, if you repeat the same method 4 times like the above, but just by multiplying 2.2 in the x, then the final outcome results as 301,136.15, meaning that the small change 0.2 have made a completely different product than 65,536, which is how Lawrence came through the butterfly effect. Now, many people would have this question: why does this matter greatly in my life? How can this math actually have to do with living? All of us have dreams of living a happy and successful life. However, that doesn't mean that the dream we dream comes true, because it's just a dream. Things we need to do, like not giving up to achieve our dreams, is something that only those who show that they have enough bravery and perseverance can do. In other words, bravery and perseverance is what's making us more mature and have better chances for a greater future. I realize this every time when I notice how I'm spending my time unwisely, or when there's time left throughout my day after finishing all the things I have to do. To be honest, this makes me feel very empty, as if something important is missing. I have about 5.5 years left to study, and it's short because as I get older, I feel like time goes faster. But this also means that those 5.5 years are my only time to prepare for college. And to me, this is important because getting into great college is one of my long-term goals, but after reflecting how much time I've wasted, I feel regret and worry because I know that time will never come back. Since then, what I define as significant and efficient in my life has changed, making me more determined to live purposeful days to make a meaningful life. I also wanted to hear advice from someone older than me, asking him about how he thinks we should be living to attain our goals. Kyle, a senior here at Lincoln, has a dream of contributing his ideas of climate change to the world. One day I asked, what would you do if you had to confront a barrier when you noticed that a part of your research was totally incorrect and you would have to present that to the audience the very next day? He then answered, well, it's obviously going to be difficult, but still, I would never give up because the goal would be the same no matter what. Whatever happens would not change my goal. I then asked, but let's say you were about 70 and you have spent the last decades devoting to your wrong research. Are you still absolutely sure that you would never give up? He finally answered, the long years I spent on this research wouldn't mean that I'm still not passionate about it. I'd be constantly doing my studies, and the only reason I'd be able to do them would be because my passion that motivates me would still be there. Kyle's mindset is what's making him inconspicuous, remarkable, and different from others. Most of all, his bravery toward his audience and perseverance toward his research is what's making him a caterpillar that never gives up to become a butterfly. Now let's think in the opposite way. What if, unlike Kyle, you yourself think that you lack these two factors, bravery and perseverance? Are you just going to give up and fail to achieve your hopes and dreams? No, we shall not do that. But there are people who do that, and these people are the ones who eventually won't feel proud of themselves because they know that they barely tried. The important thing to remember is how we all have bravery and perseverance within us. We just don't know that we possess them because we've never seen ourselves clearly that way. So once in a while, instead of asking whether or not you have bravery and perseverance, just ask yourself, how can I prove that I do have bravery and perseverance to the world and to myself? As a teenager, I often feel the need to worry when I don't have a passion. However, as I become more aware of the reality, I begin to realize how I shouldn't worry about something that didn't even occur. For instance, I shouldn't worry about how I'm not strongly motivated into something now, because that doesn't mean that I'm not passionate about my life. If you're not quite devoted into something or motivated into something, don't worry, because there will definitely be a moment when you find your passion. After that, try defining yourself. And what I mean by defining is, just ask, what is the purpose of doing this? What influence do I have to the world and to myself? There's this recent poem I read called Possibilities, written by Linda Paston. And there's a phrase where it says, choice is winnowing. I portray this quote as how we humans can usually choose only one choice out of all the other possibilities. But like the architect that I told you, what I believe is that there will be a particular moment in my life where I have only one choice, and that's going to be when I'm driven to follow my passion. Even though it's going to be difficult, I'll have the courage to grasp it. I'm going to run for that only chance and hope to never let go of it. What I keep having in mind nowadays is how life goes on in whatever choice we make, in whatever situation we live, and we have to accept that fact no matter what. Likewise, we should never forget this quote by Thomas Edison. I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. Like this, don't misunderstand the difference between not working and failing, because there's no such thing as failure. We can always stand up again and never stop in the middle, because if we stop and start something new again every time we get tired or bored, then the result we achieve will always be one, since the amount of effort we did was one. Being consistent is difficult, but we can show the world how much bravery and perseverance we have. Why don't we all try something little by little, step by step, to get closer to our dreams? And let's become a butterfly. A butterfly who can wave its wings through the open sky where possibilities of everything lies open. A butterfly who challenges itself by confronting obstacles with its very own bravery and perseverance. Let's become a butterfly who can be the quadratic curve in their life, who makes itself and its future unpredictably amazing, just like the butterfly effect. Thank you.